Welcome to another Wisdom Wednesday episode. It's Dr. Ben here,
I'm Dr. Susanna.
and we are both naturopathic doctors who empower you to heal yourself through whole food plant-based nutrition as well as mind-body medicine. And today is Dr. Susanna's birthday. Happy birthday, Dr. Susanna.
Oh, thank you.
So we're celebrating Dr. Susanna with this episode, beautiful conversation and insights around when things aren't going your way, because let's face it, things don't go our way all the time. What's your take on this? Are things going your way right now?
Well, I mean, it's my
It's your
birthday,
birthday.
so I feel like things just happen to go more of my way on my birthday because people are so sweet and considerate and like to make it special. But it's funny, this idea came to mind because in the last few weeks, there's just been kind of events coming up where it's like, that didn't go my way, or that didn't go the way I wanted to. And recently I've been noticing how it hasn't been bothering me as much. So I think that's a really wonderful thing. And I wanted to share a little bit more about why it is that it's not bothering me so much. And I thought that the best way to really exemplify how my feelings are about when things don't go my way is by reading this awesome Zen parable about the farmer. And maybe you've heard this, maybe you haven't. It's a really lovely short story that I'll just go ahead and read for us all here.
And then we can share some reflections and insights from this parable.
Yes. So once upon a time, there was a Chinese farmer who lost a horse, and all the neighbors came around that evening and said, "That's too bad." He said, "Maybe." The next day, the horse came back and brought 7 wild horses with it, and all the neighbors came around and said, "Why, that's great, isn't it?" And he said, "Maybe." The next day, his son was attempting to tame one of these horses and was riding it and was thrown and broke his leg. And all the neighbors came around in the evening and said, "Well, that's too bad, isn't it?" And the farmer said, "Maybe." The next day, the conscription officers came around looking for people for the army, and they rejected his son because he had a broken leg. And all the neighbors came around that evening and said, "Well, isn't that wonderful?" And the farmer said, "Maybe." And that's the end of this short version of this parable. There's several different versions of it, but it gives you, it shows you that we don't really know something is good or bad. Time does kind of tell later on, but even so, time is always going on. We never really know after however many days, weeks, months, years, an event is actually going to turn out for someone.
So what happened in your life, Dr. Susanna, that led you into this insight?
Well, many little small things.
But I'm asking you, like, why did you want to talk about this today?
Yeah, well, I mean, it really kind of struck me last Monday when you and I were actually just coming back from the dentist. And for me, it was like an hour at the dentist, and nothing got done because my like new retainer just didn't fit, and then they had to just fit me for another one. Anyway, it was just basically, it was like, okay, you have to come back in, a month for this thing that you've already been waiting for several months. And, it's funny because my response was kind of like, okay, that's fine. Like, I'm okay with that. And I remember you were like, wait, what? So like, they didn't do anything for the whole hour?
Well, but just to clarify, that wasn't the tone of my reaction. And really what I was getting at, what I was trying to understand was, did you get charged for nothing?
Oh yeah.
That was my curious question.
Yes. But anyway, I mean, it was a significant chunk of our day that, we spent going up valley, and we could have looked at that and been like, we just wasted half of our day. We could have been doing this, we could have been working on that, but it was a waste of time. And I feel like in the past I would have had a more sour attitude about things not going my way, stuff coming up that just was a waste of time. But I didn't respond in that way. I mean, I just kind of saw it for what it was and just kind of accepted what was. And I think when we do accept what is, it's another way of showing trust in everything that is in the
Mhm.
present moment, the perfection of what is in front of us. And we might never really understand, like fully understand why something happened a certain way or how that could actually potentially maybe even serve us in the long run. But I find that moving through life with this trust of understanding that whatever happens is fine and perfect is a really lovely place to reside.
Well, my take on this parable and this whole notion of, is it wrong, is it not, when things aren't going your way, I don't know, is that a good thing, is that a bad thing? I reflect on, I believe it's like a Shakespeare quote, nothing is good or bad, but thinking makes it so.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just going to show, that our perception of what is happening creates our experience. And that's just like so duh. I think it's like, oh, well, yeah. It's like if you have good thoughts, then you have a good experience. If you have negative thoughts, then you have a negative experience. And yeah, we can just get in there and change our perception. Well, it turns out it's not that easy to really change our perception. But having that understanding of, oh, that curious, open minded understanding of, oh, this shifting perception that I have, maybe I can't really control it. Maybe, shit is hitting the fan and it's not all butterflies and rainbows, and things aren't going my way. But maybe I can get curious about what is around the corner and what is being laid out for me, by the universe, because we all know, again, it's kind of conceptual knowledge, at least, that our growth, our learning, our healing, our evolution is not a linear process. So if it's not a linear upward, always, upward process, that means all sorts of swoops and loops and turns and dips. And, I think that what it comes down to, like you were saying, is having that trust and feeling that support from the universe, you might call it, from God, from yourself, from, I think even from family or friends. That is the universe, right? That is the universe showing up as it is, through nature, through everything.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you for also bringing that perspective in. I really like it. It's true. This parable does also show how really our judgments of what is happening creates either something, good or bad in our
Yeah.
point of view. And that's
And
all that that is. It's just our thoughts about it.
yeah, and I mean, to be honest, like sometimes people will share like quote unquote negative news or difficulties. And I think that there's this societal expectation that we say, oh, I'm sorry. And we kind of like empathize with that. Um, and I do that. Like I kind of play by those societal norms, but in the same tone, in the same feeling, I'm also at peace and like it's okay, like it's okay, even though it might not be okay in that moment for that person, empathizing and feeling the pain and suffering, but also knowing and trusting for that other person it's gonna be okay. Like it is gonna be okay. And I know like when we're in the ditch and when things aren't going our way, some of us, I know for me, like the last thing I want to hear is it's going to be okay, because it's not okay right now, right? It's like, no, but you don't understand, it's not okay right now. But just being reminded of that,
Mhm.
which again, I believe and feel that universe is reminding us that it is all okay. And I think that it's always a good reminder to have, because we can look out in any direction and see various degrees of not okayness, and have that trust that, oh, there is this like even throughout the pandemic days and everything, as like society still feels like it's on the brink of collapse, like, well, we know that that's part of the growth cycle of nature. So the so-called collapse is a beautiful thing that we can kind of like lean into and trust and have peace with. um you know Brighter days are always ahead.
Mm, yeah.
which is maybe a good note to end on.
I think
on your
so.
birthday, Dr. Susanna. We'll go back and eat all the cake. Just kidding. No cake yet.
That's later today. But anyway, everyone, thanks for joining us for today's Wisdom Wednesday. If you're looking for more in-depth conversations like this, you can join our weekly Peace on Earth calls where we meet in a Zoom with our Peace on Earth members and talk about insights and inspiration and very empowering perspectives on the human experience.
That's right.
And you can join on a sliding scale starting at $15 a month.
25, I think.
Oh, 25.
If you want to join for 15, just let us know.
Just let us know.
Set it up.
Yes. But we'll be back next week for another Wisdom Wednesday. It'll actually be on Tuesday. It'll be a Wisdom Tuesday.
That's right.
So we'll see you next Tuesday. Until then, have a beautiful week.
Peace and love, you guys.
Bye for now.